Muted.
All right, greetings. Again, my name is Robert DeFrancis, and as the Director of Sales here at Junxure, I'm really excited to show you how Junxure Cloud's integrations with systems like the Schwab OpenView Gateway can help financial advisors run a more efficient, more profitable business, and at the same time offer their clients better services. If you want to give us a call or shoot us an email to talk to us further, the number here is 866-JUNXURE. It's 586-9873. And then option 2 will take you out to our sales desk. You can also shoot us an email to sales@junxure.com. We can provide you with a free trial of Junxure Cloud and access to hours of videos, live demos to walk you through the system in much more detail than I'm going to today. Today I want to run you through several scenarios to show you how Junxure Cloud with Schwab OpenView Gateway access will help your financial advisor firm run a better business. Now, to turn on the integration, I'll go through this again at the end of the call here. It's a very simple process. Just give us a call here or shoot us an email to the admin desk. They're option 3 for the admin desk, or admin@junxure.com, and they'll send you an agreement form. Just fill out that agreement form, send it back, and we'll send you the instructions on how to enable this. If you need help, tech support can help with it. I know it's famous last words, but it's really easy to do to get that turned on. Let me assure you that the security that you set up with Schwab Advisor Center, that will carry through to Junxure Cloud. So if I'm not allowed to see something in Schwab Advisor Center, I'm not going to suddenly be allowed to see it in Junxure Cloud. That level of security will carry through. Now, I've just got a couple slides here of PowerPoint and a little presentation, and I'm going to spend the vast majority of the rest of the half hour here showing you the Junxure Cloud system itself. Now, whether you're an independent RIA or duly affiliated, Junxure Cloud is going to help an advisory firm take that data that they have all over the place in portfolio management systems, financial planning systems, paperless documents, Outlook emails, and Schwab Advisor Center. We're going to help you live in one place in your Junxure Cloud CRM. It's your glorified Rolodex on steroids, if you will. So the first agenda item I have is to take you through a really quick tour of the household's record. I want to highlight our integrations with other systems like Schwab OpenView Gateway that really help advisors use our system in more detail, how we have all the fields built into our system that advisors tend to need. On the other side of the CRM is notes and workflow tracking, and it starts with keeping track of phone call notes and meeting notes and emails and letters and steps in your checklist. And many firms never get past keeping track of a history of things that have already happened. But keeping track of what still needs to happen in the future is where you're going to find more bang from your buck than anything else your CRM can do. And you'll see later here, part of our integrations with Schwab Advisor Center connect to the alerts that need to happen. It's a better integration we have with any other custodian right now. And I can't tell you how many firms come our way telling me that they never get beyond that glorified Rolodex stage. They can't even use another CRM to track the simplest of tasks. I want to show you how easy this is to do in Junxure Cloud. I'm going to take a task all the way through the system from the initial entry point of the notes from a phone call taken by an admin person to assigning a follow-up call to that client's advisor, to the completion of that action by the advisor who calls the client back and records his notes. I'm going to take that all the way through the system from creation to completion. After we spend some time with this action, I'm going to build up to multi-step workflows, bringing on a new client, onboarding a new account, investment plan and creation and review meetings. Anything where your firm takes the same series of steps over and over again. And frankly, you can't even call yourself a CRM unless you have workflows. And with most other CRM systems, it's really nothing more than a simple checklist where you can check off what's done and what's not done and what still needs to happen. But workflows are really much more than that. There are triggers where one step doesn't get done until a previous step is completed. There are swim lanes where steps are being done in parallel. Steps are assigned to different people. I will show you how Junxure Cloud's workflow functionality takes its complexity into account and has the settings and functions to make sure the right person is assigned the right tasks in the right order every time. You don't have principals doing admin work just because it fell into their lap. You don't have employees wondering what they're supposed to do when somebody else is supposed to do it. They are supposed to do it. You can make sure the right person does the right task in the right order every time. So I'll spend some time showing you our multi-step workflows here in Junxure Cloud. And then finally, I want to talk about ways that you can report on your system. Look through all that data. This person here wants to see what they have to do. Looking at all the actions in the system, they can easily filter it down and show just what they have to do today. Or maybe your office manager wants to see a little more global actions as to what everybody has on their to-do list for today. They can see what everybody has. We're going to offer you the reporting tools to really see in your system what you need to do, what's across your whole office, just your high priority actions. We can filter and sort and report on things very easily. And then finally, as you start to really use the system, you're going to have questions. And every subscription includes access to the best tech support and training team around. Over the years, we've maintained over 98% positive feedback on our tech support calls. It is the best part of our company. Free training is available to help you get onboarded with live Q&A webinars and a library of on-demand videos. We offer ongoing education training, free training to help you really truly adopt the system throughout your whole firm. We can migrate your data from the current on-premise version of Junxure. There's no charge to migrate that data. I know on this call we have a lot of firms that were using the Schwab integrated office that's being sunsetted. We can offer you a very smooth transition from that version of Salesforce to Junxure Cloud. And then we also offer comprehensive onboarding to really help you with one-on-one training. But the thing I want to highlight today is the best help tool that you've ever seen. It's our Junxure Cloud Expert. It's going to guide you step by step through what you need to do on certain tasks on your screen. You don't have to look at a separate help screen and then translate that to yours. It's going to take you step by step through what you need to do on your screen. And I'm going to use it today to show you how you can do a mass communication in our system. So with that said, I'm going to get rid of this PowerPoint. I'm going to spend the majority of the rest of the time here showing you the actual Junxure Cloud system itself, which you should see popping up on your screen now. This is the very first thing you'll see when you log into Junxure Cloud. And right from this home page, you can see that Junxure Cloud is really very different from other CRM systems that are out there. You know, rather than dropping you into a list of accounts or people, Junxure Cloud is presenting you with a list of a functional dashboard. It's quick access to where you need to go. You might be an admin person that wants to get to your list of pending actions. I'll do that later on. Right now I got 3 things to do that are either due today or past due. Or you might be a sales rep that needs to get to a list of your opportunities. I only got 1 right now. I probably need to work on that. Or a company principal that wants to get to their dashboard. Or maybe you want to log into Schwab Advisor Center. We offer you links right to other websites here from your homepage. We just want to give you quick access to where you need to go. And as I mentioned earlier, the first thing I want to do is just talk about a client record. Lots of ways I can maneuver around, but I'm going to go to a record here for Jim and Nancy Fallon. So if I type in F-A-L, letter by letter, it's filtering my list down. And there's Jim and Nancy. I click on their name, and this brings up the record for Jim and his wife, Nancy Fallon. This is what our records look like. We've got a little summary here at the top of the screen. It has some pictures of the client, tells me who's working with this client. They are a client. They're not a prospect or a vendor. They're in their accumulation phase. These tags and classifications are all searchable in our database. You can open and close this summary. We have the toolbar here where we can, later on I'll add an action, but I could add a new insurance policy or initiate the correspondence assistant. Everything about the record is on these different tabs and sub-tabs. And I could spend over an hour just going through some data fields, but I'll concentrate on a few that I think are most important to everyone. We got the basic contact information, where we have information about Jim and information about Nancy separately. We've got their phone numbers, their email addresses, their snail mail addresses, and whatnot. You can have as many of each of these in here as you want to. You can label each of these however you want to label them. There's some cool bells and whistles in here, like with the snail mail addresses. We generate a map that you can zoom in and out of there. With emails, probably our most popular integration that we have in Junxure now, that we also have in Junxure Cloud, is our integration with Outlook, where we're always looking at each employee's inbox in your sent items box. We're looking at the address that the emails went to or that they came from. If we find a match here in Junxure Cloud, it takes 0 mouse clicks. As soon as that email is in Outlook, a copy of that email is in Junxure Cloud. And it shows up in 2 places. As I scroll back up here to the top, it's going to show up on the client's email tab. So here's a list of all the emails to and from that client. I can click the plus sign here and see a quick look at that email. It's also going to show up on that client's actions tab. I'll get more into actions here in a few minutes after I finish with the client record. But actions show up everywhere. I can see actions globally. I can see just my actions that are assigned to me that aren't done yet. Here I'm seeing all the actions that pertain to Jim and his wife, Nancy Fallon, sorted in this case by the date that they were entered. So I have all the actions there as well. Again, I'll get more into the workflow in a few minutes here. But we've got lots of information about this record here. We've got paperless data that you can easily get to. But more pertinent to the demo today, we can also extract financial information. Now, there's lots of ways that we can connect to data from Schwab. One way is through a portfolio management system. Now, we don't care if you're using Schwab's Portfolio Center or Advent Access or Black Diamond or Orion or Allbridge or Morningstar. There's lots of portfolio management systems that can integrate with Schwab and maybe some other sources as well. Through those portfolio management systems, we can import data into Junxure Cloud, and that's that number we're seeing here. This would be yesterday's closing total pulled in from a portfolio management system. Tomorrow morning, these numbers would go away and be replaced with today's closing total. So one way we can connect to Schwab data is through a portfolio management system. We import that into our system there. And here I'm looking at the account level totals. If I click on one of these accounts, and here we can see this is a Schwab account, click on that. Now we're looking at the details of this particular Schwab account, just one account that Jim and Nancy have. And as I scroll down, I can see things like the asset total. Again, that would be from a portfolio management system. If I'm using a system like Orion, I can link out directly to that, or I can also link directly to Schwab Advisor Center. The idea here is if I need to move money into or out of this account, I don't want to have to minimize Junxure Cloud, open up Schwab Advisor Center, refine this account after I've already had to log in again. I don't want to do all that stuff here with Schwab Advisor Center. We take it down to one mouse click. So just take a quick mental note. This account number ends in 0129. If I click this Move Money button here, another window pops open in my browser. I've already logged in to Schwab Advisor Center because I've logged into Junxure Cloud. It's a single sign-on. You don't have to log in again over there. And notice it takes me right to this same account. There's the same account number. I'm in the Move Money screen in Schwab Advisor Center. This is a functional screen. I can start clicking on these links. I can do whatever I need to. I'm now over in Schwab Advisor Center. One mouse click to get over there from Junxure Cloud. Notice it's in a different tab, so I can easily go back over to the original tab there. That's one way we connect to Schwab through the OpenView Gateway, right to the Move Money screen. As I scroll down, we do see all the individual positions that are in this particular account. Again, those would come over from the portfolio management system. These would be yesterday's closing totals. But I can also see real-time information as of this moment right now. Click this little button right here, and you can see it's making a query of Schwab Advisor Center today, 12:14 Eastern Time. It's showing me not yesterday's closing total, but right now, the totals in that account. And or lots of information about the account. I can see an overview of the account. I can see the preferences. I can see if they have money movement or check writing abilities, money link. I can see holdings, not yesterday's closing total, but the holdings as of this moment right now. I can see transactions. So if I'm on the phone with Jim and Nancy Fallon here, and they're asking me if a trade went through today, I can say, no, the most recent trade went through back in July in this particular account. I don't have to say, I'll research that and get back to you. We've added cost basis information recently to Junxure Cloud here. I know this is very important for advisors to have access to these days, of course. In one mouse click from Junxure Cloud, I didn't have to go over to Schwab Advisor Center and refine that data over there. I can see account balances and buying power information. I can also see PDF copies of reports, tax statements, the trade confirmations and whatnot. Those are all accessible here from Junxure Cloud. And that's just kind of some more data here, but we also connect to the alerts from Junxure Cloud. And again, I've been foreshadowing this for a few minutes here. We're going to get to actions in a second. We all call the workflow different things. You might call it a task or a to-do. We call it an action. Schwab calls it an alert. It's all really an action as far as Junxure Cloud is concerned. We can make these alerts into actions. So whether it's a money movement alert or transfer of assets alert, got lots of different alerts in here. I can click on one of these alerts to see the details. I could archive it from Junxure Cloud here, so I don't have to go over to Schwab Advisor Center to archive it. I can add an action. So if I need to do an action based on this alert, I can manually add this action, but we can also automate the ability to add these actions. So if your firm does the same thing every time it gets a money movement alert from Schwab, let me show you what you can do here. Let's go back to the top of the screen, and I'm just going to pop this open in a different window here. In the settings area of Junxure Cloud, we've got a firm profile here, and this is about as far behind the scenes as I'll get in the demo here today. Under the firm profile, we've got some firm preferences. And here's where I can edit and set up the Schwab OpenView Gateway, the alerts to automatically kick off workflows. So if I click on the list here, we've got some different settings here, but if I scroll down, here, look, there's a list of all the alerts that Schwab has that they're going to send you to Schwab Advisor Center. In my sample database here, I'm ignoring them all right now, and you can choose to ignore some or all of them. But ones that you don't want to ignore, you can say, when that alert comes down, I want to add a certain workflow. So in this case, if you get a client-initiated change of address, and they started that with Schwab, we can have it so that the appropriate workflow gets kicked down to your office, and you can kick off your address change workflow. Schwab's also worked with us to provide different workflow templates so that you don't even have to make these templates, these workflows. We can get these templates into your system so you just have to tweak the things that Schwab knows they want you to do for your particular purposes. But we can make it so in the same place that you see that phone call that you need to call a client back that your assistant assigned you, and that birthday call you need to make to a client today, you can also see the fact that you need to do something for that client account linked alert or that e-statement enrollment alert. That'll kick off automatically in your Junxure Cloud system. Again, Schwab right now is the only custodian that we do that with automatically. But that's really the future direction of a lot of our integrations. Let me just take a quick tangent here and show you a little bit about what's coming here with Junxure Cloud. I'm going to pop over a different window here. This is the next thing we're adding here called a client service monitor. The idea here is we want to add a lot more of these automation tools. I just described one tool where we're automatically adding actions based on alerts coming down from Schwab. The next thing we'll do here is a service monitor. It's based on different levels of service. So here I've defined a bronze, gold, platinum, and silver clients, different service levels. I've defined the possible services I might deliver to those clients. They get holiday gifts. We have meetings. We have phone calls. And then I define the frequency with which each service needs to be delivered to different levels of clients. So for this case, for gold clients, they need to have a meeting every 3 months. If I haven't entered a meeting action in 3 months for a gold client, we'll automatically kick off the workflow for a meeting. If they haven't had a phone call in 1 quarter, it's going to automatically kick off a phone call, and it'll give me 7 days before that's due. So these are automatically add actions if a time period has gone by and I haven't done a rebalancing or had an annual review or made a phone call to a gold client. We're going to add a lot more of these automation tools here in Junxure Cloud as well, based on time periods going by, alerts from Schwab, date ranges getting out of tolerance, money balances getting out of tolerance. Automation tools is a big part of our future here, and frankly, Schwab has been at the forefront of that with the first tool that we just showed you there with the alerts that could be automatically added there in Junxure Cloud. So kind of pulling back here, we're going back over to my sample database here, looking at Jim and Nancy. We're back in that account. Again, I was showing you ways we can connect to the Move Money screens. We can connect to the Schwab data here on an account level. That's all built into our system now. Just give the admin desk a call if you're currently a Junxure Cloud user. They can set that up. If you have more questions about it, just give us a call or shoot us an email. But that's kind of the basics on the client record. I want to change gears now and do that second thing on my agenda is take a sample action all the way through the system from creation to completion. And to do that, I'm going to kind of minimize this screen here for a second. Notice here I'm logged in as Joe Advisor right now, and we're Sandbox Advisors. But I'm going to bring another window over here, and I'm going to log into the same database, but I'm going to log in as the admin person. I've already got their credentials typed in. We've gone to junxurecloud.com. I'm clicking the login button, and first of all, notice as the home page pops open for this admin person, they've got user rights and roles applied. So they can, they can still get to Schwab, but they don't have all the buttons there. You can limit access to different users in your system. And let's say this admin person has Jim on the phone, so she wants to get to Jim's record. She'll type his name in here. There's the record for Jim and Nancy Fallon. Popping up again. We're going to put an action in here. I'm going to click the Add Action button. And I have all my actions in here. These will be categorized however you want to categorize them. If you've got this data in Schwab Salesforce, or you've got this in Junxure or another CRM, we can migrate this data over to Junxure Cloud here. It might be a multi-step workflow, where I'm going to talk about this in more detail in a few minutes when I get into the workflows, but this could be a new account transferring in. I could kick this off from right here. That's a workflow that has several steps. For this first action, though, I'm going to keep it simple. We're just going to have this one phone call, and one phone call back finishes it. So I'm going to enter my simple phone call action here. And my standard action information box pops open. Now, if you're a current Junxure customer, you'll see we've simplified this. I just need to tell this what kind of action this is. This is client services. There's hundreds of these drop-down boxes in the system. The words that appear in these boxes are customizable. So in this case, whatever categories you want can be in there. We'll say this is account questions. And action note in here saying Jim called with account questions. Needs a call back. And if that were it, if Jim just called and had some questions and they were answered and we don't need to do anything else, I could save and close this right now. I would have an action on Jim and Nancy's tab that said on March 16th we had an action and here's the phone call notes about what happened. But in this case, something does need to be done. So I need to check off this action required box. This tells Junxure that this is now a pending action. I just need to now assign it to somebody. I can assign it to myself. I'm Casey now, and She could assign it to herself here. She could assign it to the secondary advisor, or in this case, we're going to assign it back over to Joe. Joe is the other person I was logged in as. This will now appear in his list of pending actions. If your firm is like most, everything's always a high priority. So we'll put that high priority in there. You'll leave it on today for the due date. I'll save and close this. And now just to start proving the point, if I go over to the Actions tab for Jim and Nancy, now we do have a new action entered in there. It's a phone call action entered by Casey on today, account questions. It's not been completed yet, so it's now part of that client's action on their Actions tab. I'm going to change hats here again now. I'm taking off my admin hat. I'm putting back my advisor hat back on again, so we'll just take the screen away. And then we'll go back to the home screen here just to start showing this. If you were here in the very beginning, you might remember that I had only 3 actions assigned to me. Well, now as the advisor, just had a new action assigned to me. That automatically updates. I got 4 assigned to me now. I don't know if you noticed, but we had an alert popping up on the assistant screen. They pop up every 90 seconds or so we could wait a minute or so for that to pop up, but it will come up automatically here in a minute or so. I can also just click on this alert link here, and that tells me about that alert. I'll just acknowledge that I saw that. And then if I go to this screen here, I think the next screen I'm showing you now is the most important screen we have in Junxure Cloud. This is an up-to-the-second list of what I need to do that hasn't been done yet. Here are 4 things that are either due today or past due. That includes that action just got assigned to me. For Jim and Nancy, it's account questions. Assigned here by Casey, it's due today. This is a sample database, so you see I've got some things to do in the past here. But I've got it could be a recurring action. It could be an alert from Schwab that was automatically added to my workflow here because I've set up that automatic functionality I was showing you earlier. It could be a part of a workflow. I'm going to get to this action in a minute here, where this is a step in the middle of a workflow, where somebody sent some forms off to the custodian. That triggered a step to me to verify that those forms got there. That's in my list of actions here as well. So it's all the things I need to do that haven't been done yet. I'm going to get to this action here that we just put in there. And this is our new way of showing a summary of the actions. Updated from what we have in Junxure now. Much more intuitive, easier to see view here. It tells me at a glance this is not done. The idea is that if there were a lot of things done after this phone call, I could scroll down and see all the subsequent activity as well. It doesn't matter if there was 1 thing or 10 things or 50 things. I could see all the subsequent activity, who did it, when they did it. We'll do some more complicated actions here in a second. I'm going to keep this first one simple. Let's say there's 1 follow-up finishes this. You always have this button here to add another action. So you can keep adding as many actions as you want. So here's where I could kick off that new account transferring in. I could still kick it off. Jim, when I called back, said he had a new account. In this case, I'm going to just put another phone call action in here. That brings up my standard action information box. We'll say this is a client service action again. We'll say this is a follow-up. The subject's important for this summary here. That's what's going to show up in the summary. Again, if this went on and on, I'd have lots of good summaries here. And then if this little box here isn't enough for my notes, I can go full screen. We know some advisors like to write a novel, so I can write as much as I want here. Stop watching 60 minutes. Everything's fine, whatever my notes are. This is rich text, so I can make it different fonts and colors and sizes and bolding, and I can do a lot with the highlighting there. I can, more stuff needed to be done. I could check off this action required box and assign myself or other people more actions in the system. If it wasn't done yet, I could just save it, and then maybe later on I enter another action and complete it later. In this case, we'll say that this phone call back finished this or completed. I'm going to check this save and complete it. And now we can see that it's done, completed. I have the original phone call notes right there, and then as I scroll down, I also have all the subsequent follow-up notes as well. And then hopefully you can start imagining if this went on and on, I could see all the subsequent activity as well as I scroll through this list of actions there. So that's one action going through the system. But as I said earlier, my next agenda item is to show you a multi-step workflow. That was just one thing. What about multiple things here? If I go back to my home screen, first of all, I can almost go home here. I'm back down to 3 actions to do. If I click on that list here, that one I just finished is gone, but we still have that verify forms action I was describing earlier. If I click on that link there, we'll now see that there's that same action we saw a second ago, same view we saw a second ago, but we can see now it doesn't sit by itself. This is part of a multi-step workflow. Some steps are done, some steps aren't done. There's another parallel step that's not done there. There's one that's not even in the system yet because it's waiting for previous steps to be done. If I could just add my note here and say I finished this, or if I want to see more of what's done here, I can click on the link there, and now I've got a nice view where I can see all the different people working on this new account. Mike was assigned a step, and he's finished it, but this whole workflow is not done. But there's Mike's notes about doing that. There's Winston being assigned a step to send the forms off. It's done. and there's his notes about doing that. That triggered 2 steps here. 1 step for Eric is finished. The step for Joe that we saw a second ago by itself, now we can see it in its context with all the other workflow, and you can still add my notes here. As I scroll down, we can see Eric's notes. We can see Sean's been assigned something that's not done. Lots of different people working on this. I can see what's done, what's not done. If I'm on the phone with George and Sally, I don't have to research this and get back to them. I can tell them exactly what's going on with this new account being transferred in. And there's lots of ways I can get to this information. I could have gone to George and Sally's record and gone to their Actions tab and gotten to it there. This time I got to it from my list of pending actions. I drilled down and saw the details of this whole workflow there. One other way I want to show you this, though, is back on my home screen. I got a little drop-down menu. I can get to that. I can go to this workflow management area. And this shows me a workflow monitor, where in this case I've got, 8 new accounts being transferred in. If I want to see what's going on with this one for Rick and Lori, I can click the plus sign, and I can see which steps are done, which steps are pending, which steps aren't in the system yet. I can get some more than this summary by clicking on the link there. Pops open a new window in my browser, and now I can see exactly what's going on with this new account. Winston took a long time to get the paperwork off, and there I can see the details of the next 2 steps there. This time I got to the details from a more global look at my actions. So again, we found that depending on your role in the office and what you're doing, whether you're a principal or an office manager or an advisor or a frontline admin person, there's different ways you're going to come at the workflow. This is really differentiating us from other simple systems that are out there or non-industry specific systems. We're giving you ways to really look at the workflow in ways that make sense to a financial advisory firm. All right, got a couple more minutes here. I want to finish up by talking about that help tool that I mentioned earlier that really takes you through the system here. And in this example, I want to show you how we can send a letter to a group of people, or you can do it for an email as well. I'll do an email here today. And this little help tool, it's always down here at the bottom of the screen. As I scroll through this, there's lots of different topics here, and I got one here for sending an email to a group. Click on that link. It doesn't matter where I am. It's going to tell me step by step what to do. So look, it tells me start here. Click that link. That brings down my menu. I got to go to a list of records to decide who's going to get this email. So I got to click on my records link here. This brings up a record workspace. That shows me a list of all my records. I might just want to check people off here, or I can use my search box. Let's say I want to search for a list of people that have a client as a classification and have newsletter as a keyword. And I can get that specific list of people here. And I could also do a more advanced search and get really specific on here, but we'll do a simple search today. That filters my list down. Continue to the next step. I need to select who gets it. I could just check them off manually from this box here, or I could just select them all. Tell them I need to click the correspondence button. But notice this is not a separate help screen that I have to translate to my screen. This is taking me step by step through what I need to do on my screen here. Now, I'm not going to take the time to go through this whole thing here today as we're running out of time here, but let me get through one more screen here. This takes me to my template, so I can select the template that I want to use. Notice this uses merge fields, so I can personalize each of these emails that go out. There's 15 emails, 15 people on the list here. This would send 15 separate emails directly through either an Exchange server or through a Gmail account. We work with Google Mail as well, and separate emails go to each recipient. But again, it's not just a tool that can send out mass communications. It's something that can show you how to do that step by step and really help you adopt the system. And it's a great way to teach you initially, or for those things you do once every 6 months and you don't quite remember the details. It'll take you through those steps again over and over again. So let me just finish up here by reminding you the steps that you need to go through in order to set up that integration. Let me bring that up here again. Here we go. Just give our admin desk a call or shoot them an email. The number here is 866-JUNXURE. Option 3 will go to the admin desk or admin@junxure.com. Tell them you want to turn on the Schwab integration. They'll send you a form, an agreement form that you need to complete and send back. Once we get that, we'll send you the instructions to enable it. And if you need help, tech support's more than happy to walk you through the steps on that. And again, we're more than happy to answer any questions you might have, send you a trial. We can also give you a one-on-one demo if you'd like. Just give us a call, shoot us an email. We'll be happy to set that up with you guys. We do have a couple questions here. Just wanted to go through a couple of these here real quick before we finish up. We said one thing's about the encryption. I have a security email that I can send you that goes through all the details about the security on this site and the compliance issues with that. Basically, it'll show you all the things that you would need to show to an auditor that shows that we're doing all the things that are supposed to be done to make this a secure, encrypted environment. One other question, how can I migrate data over from Junxure? Is there a cost from that? If you're using the on-premise version of Junxure now, there is no charge to upgrade your data to Junxure Cloud. It's a free migration, free upgrade of your data. We're also offering complimentary free training to teach you how to use the new system and help you through that transition. It's free training if you're a brand new customer as well. And again, I know there's a lot of Schwab integrated office users that are on this call here now. Since that system is being sunsetted, we can help you through the migration of that Salesforce data as well to Junxure Cloud. We're starting to do a lot of those here as that system goes away. I apologize for not getting to all the questions. We have over 100 people on the call here today, and I think every single one of you asked a question or two. We're able to capture this, and we'll definitely proactively follow up with you. Or again, if you'd like to, just give us a call or shoot us an email. We'll be happy to follow up with you one-on-one. We are also recording this call here, so if you'd like a link to the recording of this demo, we'll be happy to send you that. I appreciate all your time here today, though. Thank you for taking a look at how Junxure Cloud can help your firm with the Schwab Advisor Center and the Schwab OpenView Gateway, help you run a more efficient, more profitable